Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to Cliff Notes Live. I think it's episode 263 or something like that. Welcome aboard. Welcome to a Monday evening. Man, we got a lot going on. We'll probably talk. I'm sure we'll talk a little Traitors. There's a little football waiting for me as well. People with the different people are rooting on. We'll talk about that also. Starting off with big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love the Traitors, love reality TV in general. Love hanging with you guys every Monday night. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate the support. I truly do. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on the notifications, and hitting the old thumbs up just because. Notifications could be important because I did decide, as I mentioned last Monday, to go ahead and cover the Traitors. So I've dropped 3 different recap episodes for the first 3 episodes that dropped all at once Thursday night. Talking about busy 24 hours or so, but got all that taken care of. If you got your notifications turned on, you'll know when those episodes drop. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think. First of all, before I go any further, because otherwise I'm going to forget about it. When we talk about the Traitors, I will be talking about spoilers. I don't know how you could talk about it without, but if you haven't seen them yet, you're warned. You're absolutely warned. All right, before we're going beyond that, let me see who all's out here, and then we'll get into it. Kind of an open night. I'm kind of open to whatever y'all want to talk about, so let's just make it happen. All right, let's see. We got Patricia Miller out here. Hey, Patricia. Marilyn Sutherland, Gail Warnings, Amanda Lowe, Carol Mosier, Big Jake 88. I love seeing all y'all here. Kennedy Frank's out here as well. Let's see. Paula Lou 4, Karen Hummer, Brian Hostetter. Brian, how are you, sir? Let's see as I get through these. Oh, yeah, just having the final conversation. Lee Strack as well. Ma's out here. Ma, how are you doing? Are you in school back? Or are you still on a little winter break? Seems like it starts earlier and earlier every single year. All right, welcome to all of y'all. And if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Welcome as well to those who watch on replay. I appreciate y'all's support as well. I know not everyone can be out here on a Monday evening, so thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, what all's going on? Let's a couple of things real quick. Let me look some comments and we'll talk about some other things. Let's see. Patricia Miller, loving Cliff's recaps for season 4 of the Traitors. Thank you, I appreciate that. Says you guys should check it out. I appreciate the kind words. I do. I'm having fun with it. I feel very. There's times where I think, God, you just don't have any of this stuff figured out, Cliff, as you watch it. But that's part of what's fun with it. And we'll talk about that and why I don't think it really matters as well. Karen Hummer is saying, hooked on Traitors, first time watching it. All right, if just first time, Karen, you got a lot of seasons to catch up on because it's not just US, it's UK, it's Australia, it's Canada, New Zealand. A lot of Traitors out there. Paul Lou 4 says, thanks for the Traitors updates. Well, you were most welcome, sir. I'm having fun doing it as well. It's a lot of fun. Gail Warnings is saying Traitors is one of my favorites. Sounds like we got some Traitors fans out here. Carol Mosier says, still mourning the loss of a couple of gamers, of Ian and Rob's sister, Nino. I told you I'd have spoilers. Love the recaps, though. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, and I hope I didn't spoil it, I did warn you. We did lose right off the bat, Ian, and then we lost Portia. And I'm sure Portia's an incredible woman, but she's not someone who's been on Big Brother or CBS reality shows. So I haven't met her yet. I look forward to meeting a lot that were on that show, but we lost Ian, and then we lost Rob's sister Nino. Rob has a podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. I listen to it all the time before I went on Big Brother. Yeah, it hurt to lose the 2 of them. I tell you, if I'm in the house and I'm a gamer, I'm getting a little bit nervous. I truly am. And we at home know that there's no gamers that are Traitors, which kind of surprised me. I would not have guessed that. I really thought you were going to have one of the housewives from the Bravo channel. You were going to have one of the gamers from CBS, and then you would have kind of a free agent, either someone from one of the dating shows or Kristen from Top Chef, someone that doesn't really, or one of the athletes that doesn't really identify as much with one or the other 2 big groups. It didn't work that way. It would have tricked me. I can't help but think that they've got to be thinking that one of the gamers that's left is a traitor. I would think so. We know that's not the case. They don't necessarily know that. But yeah, we lost Ian, we lost Rob. Here's what makes it just a little bit tougher even. I was with Ian Terry on Thursday night. We watched the episode together. He had a little private viewing party. I went over, met Ian, met his wife. First time I met his wife, incredibly nice lady. And but we watched that episode, and you could kind of see the writing on the wall as you got down to the end. I truly thought when it came down to it, when it was Ian and Mark and Eric, and then Rob B, but he's a traitor anyway, so he couldn't get booted. I really felt like Ian was the huge target, and the rest of them not nearly as much. So I kind of saw it getting ready to happen, and sure enough, when Ian's gone, we all turned our heads. Oh, Ian, we're so sorry. He handled it pretty well. He tells us there's not much you can do. It's not as though he made some huge strategic blunder or anything else. It was just one of those weird things. I can relate. I mean, I was banished on day one. I could have been going home day one. Ian didn't have a long life in Traitors. Sometimes it just happens. You don't get enough of a chance to get your feet underneath you. But I told Ian, I said, you could have gone home in the first 5 minutes. You still got a freaking trip to Scotland. How cool is that? Why don't they do Big Brother in other locations? How much fun would it have been? Y'all remember the old show, The Real World, which was on MTV? They had music. Then they started going a little reality TV before they went 24 hours a day of ridiculousness as their only show on MTV. But they had The Real World, which was kind of the Big Brother before you had the competition element. Back then, they just hung out. They'd work at a record store or something like that. There wasn't any big prize to be won. No one got evicted. They just hung out and people filmed it. But the Real World, that's what I grew up on watching before we had Big Brother and Survivor and all of those. But they always went to different locations. They went to New York. They went to San Francisco. They went to Hawaii, all these different places. What if you did Big Brother that way? I mean, in the studio house is fine, but how cool would it have been if they put us up on top of some volcano in Hawaii or somewhere? Yeah. Have Not Room could have been a whole different ball game based on the environments y'all are in. All right, here's something that y'all probably don't know because I just learned it not too long ago. Y'all know my brother Bowie was on The Apprentice, right? The first season of The Apprentice did that show. He almost went on The Real World Hawaii, which was one of the later seasons, apparently. He tried out for that, got right up to the very end, and then did not make it onto the show. He never told any of us that. I had no clue until maybe a year or two ago, a couple years ago, he told me about it. Learn something new every day. But anyway, yeah, Ian got to go to Scotland no matter what, which is kind of cool. Got to hang out in that castle. Hence my my background here. I wanted to show this off. Because I work in oil and gas, and there's a lot of oil and gas offshore Scotland in the North Sea. So I've spent a lot of time, many trips over in Scotland. Seen quite a few castles there. I have not seen the one that's from the Traitors, but I've seen a lot of other castles. And this is probably my favorite. This is called Dunotter Castle, and it's like east and south of Aberdeen a little bit. As you can tell, it's up against the ocean. A little tougher to tell, but there's only one. There's only one little path to get out to this little peak, this little thing that sticks out from the mainland. And then they built a castle on top of it. How cool is that? And apparently William Wallace, Braveheart, actually attacked this castle at one time, which I thought was pretty cool. But I remember driving up on this thing looking from up high and seeing this and thinking, gosh, Scotland's got so much more history than we as United States have. We are coming up on 250 years as a country, but over there, God, stuff's been around forever. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but I love Scotland. It's one of my favorite places. I can't understand the Scottish brogue at all, but it's a cool place to visit. And I like my fish and chips. All right, let's see. Karen Hummer saying, wonder how and when the Traitors sneak away to talk. Do they all have to go to bed at a certain time and not come out of their rooms? Yeah, they all get pulled away. I don't think it's a big dark secret. They've actually shown it on some of the other seasons or the other countries series and all that. So I don't think I'd give them away anything extravagant. They actually don't sleep in the castle. They've got, I hope it's a real nice hotel. I assume it is, but they actually have to all leave and go to a castle or go to a hotel to spend the night. So yeah, I guess the castle's a little too nice for our faithfuls and Traitors. So I believe they all leave at the same time. Did y'all see one of the episodes? Was it the the second or I guess this is the third episode where someone got murdered by fire, murdered in plain sight, where they had to do it within a short period of time. They had to burn a tarot card to show who's being murdered. Apparently, that was revealed very late in the evening after they'd had banishments and challenges and all of that. And so the Traitors only had, I don't know, I'm kind of guessing, I don't know for certain, but had a very short period of time, an hour or two, to actually do everything they needed to do, because once people started getting pulled out of the castle to go to sleep, it was over. They wouldn't have had the chance to do so. So I think the way it works is probably they grab people, they start putting them all in cars at the same time, sending them off. They probably staggered a little bit. So I don't know. Some people, maybe they get to the hotel of Traitors and they have to come right back. Or maybe they selectively get a few pulled out. No one really knows who is leaving when and all that. I'm sure they figure it out. But I guarantee you, I would be watching to see who was getting in those cars and who was leaving first every time. Things like that, trying to figure it out. All right. Karen is saying, what happens if all the Traitors get banished? Wouldn't the game end? Yeah, and it's a very good question that I know it hadn't happened on the US version. I don't think it's happened in any version. There have been some seasons where it seems like a couple of Traitors got pulled out, got caught, exposed a little quicker than other seasons. And typically when that happens, they give the remaining Traitors the opportunity to recruit new Traitors. You know, there's 2 people left and you still have half the season. So then they're told you have an opportunity to recruit one faithful that either can become a traitor or they're murdered immediately. Because I think if someone gets a letter and says you've been recruited to be a traitor, they can't stay a faithful at that point in time, because they'll just run back and tell everyone else, hey, they tried to recruit me. And I guess that would you tell people that? Maybe not. But anyway, yeah. So every time I've seen it, you have a choice of either dying immediately or becoming a traitor. Well, I know what I'd choose of those two. So I expect that in a worst case situation, say the first 3 episodes, they grabbed the first couple of Traitors. I think whoever was left would be quickly recruiting a couple of extra Traitors. And that gets to the crux of my strategy. If I was in this house, if I was playing the game, it seems like everyone is so preoccupied with trying to identify the Traitors, and I don't care. I would not care, because even think of it this way: you're the smartest man in the world, man. The most unusual man. What do they call it? They'll liquor commercial. The most amazing man in the world. Right? You're the smartest guy in the house. As soon as people walk in there, you figure out who the traitor is. You tell everyone. And you're also incredibly charismatic. And you say, "Look, I know who the traitor is. It's Dean Martin. Whoever's in there. He's the traitor." Give away my age here. And they'll say, "Oh, we believe you, Cliff." And you vote out that guy as a traitor, and he say, "Yes, I'm a traitor." Everyone cheers. "Oh, we did it. We did it." Well, all it happens is now you've recruited a different traitor. And now the people who are traitors are going to all be pointing at Cliff or whoever the most unusual man in the world is in there and say, "We got to get rid of that guy. He figured that out within a heartbeat." So why in the world are you too excited to identify a traitor? You don't gain anything by it. It only puts a target on you if you do so. If I am in that castle, I could care less. Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. I couldn't care less who the actual traitor is at the beginning. I think it would be all about who is going to protect me, who is not going to protect me. Build the alliance. If I identify 4 or 5 people and one of them is a traitor, so much the better, because that means I'll protect them at the banishment ceremony. They can keep me from getting murdered, hopefully, in the evening, and we can work with each other without even me realizing that perhaps someone is a traitor. That is the way I would try to play this game. Now, eventually, you've got to call someone out, but why do it as soon as you know it? If I see someone and I absolutely know they're a traitor, maybe just leave them there and know that you've got someone in your pocket that's somewhere down the road you can call out and potentially banish if the time comes up. We've seen Tiffany Mitchell in these first 3 episodes where she talked about that a little bit. She's kind of convinced that Michael Rappaport is a traitor, right? Well, she said, I'd rather work close to him and maybe he'll protect me if I protect him a little bit. I would be doing exactly what Tiffany's doing. I think that's a brilliant strategy. I know the name of the game is to identify traitors, and it would be boring if they weren't doing it. But I just think people are too preoccupied with that. But it's ego, it's pride. You want to be able to show how smart you are to everyone watching on TV by finding the traitors. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care at all, at least not to start. All right, Cindy is saying, hey, Cindy, I didn't see you out there. I'm glad you're out here. Cindy is saying, who's going to apply for the traitors? And Karen Hummer says, Cliff, I think you should apply. Well, Karen, I would love to, and maybe I'll do it somewhere down the road. But for those of you who are not aware, they are casting for a season of the Traitors right now, and they don't want me. They do not want me. They want people who have not been on reality TV before, unknowns, raw talent ready to go out and conquer the world. So they don't want me, but they want some of y'all out there. So y'all need to apply, right? Oh, I've said it before with Big Brother, and I'll say the same thing with Traitors. If someone who watches Cliff Notes Live was to get on one of these reality shows, you would have such a built-in team cheering you on. We would stack. We would rig every poll. They'd say, well, we can't vote. We don't know what happened, but Cindy Hire just got 98% of the vote on who gets safety this week. Yeah, we would take care of business out here. That would be so much fun. I'd absolutely love it. It's fun visiting with people who've been on these shows. I always have fun with the meet and greets and things like that. But to have someone that I can cheer on actively during the show, which I thought was going to be the case with Ian, not so much this season. But I'd love to get you all on that show. Yeah, but not me. So go out there, check, because it is it's a different kind of season for the Traitors coming up. All right, Blue Sugi is saying, Mama Kelsey, Mama Kelsey cracked me up. You know, I sometimes think that I'm a decently aware guy. Sharon will probably say differently, that I'm not nearly as aware as I think I am. And it completely blew me away. I was sitting there saying, I said it on my recaps. I had on my notes. I said, well, should I say it now that it shows that I have no clue? But yes, I'm still going to say, I want to show what I'm actually thinking while I watch these shows. So yeah, I said on a recap, there's no way she's going to be a traitor. That's too, she doesn't have enough drama around her. She's not a forceful enough personality for her to be a traitor. I just don't see her bringing enough excitement. Well, it shows what I know, which is probably why my strategy of not caring who the traitor is about the only strategy that I could utilize, because obviously I don't pick up on the signs. Now, I would like to think that if I was in a castle hanging out with someone for 14 hours a day, I would do better at picking up the signs. I picked up a lot while I was in the Big Brother house as far as alliances and everything. So I feel like maybe I could do it with Traitors as well, identify the alliances and all that. But yeah, I was not expecting Donna, Mama Kelsey to be a traitor. Everyone else figured it out. It was a unanimous vote against her, except for one person and herself. So yeah, they had her pegged. It was incredible. Incredible they noticed it. All right, Karen Loveland is saying, go Steelers. Gail Warnings is saying, who are y'all rooting for? Me rooting for the Seahawks. All right, y'all are just trying to poke me, right? We'll get back to reality TV, but yeah, there's a little bit of football game going on this evening. The Houston Texans versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan, so Pittsburgh Steelers have always been on the fighting side of me, so to speak. Sam Smith from my season of Big Brother. He's a huge Steelers fan. I already reached out to him and said, all right, Steelers versus Texans. Let's see what happens. But we'll see. I don't know. I hope my Texans win. It's 30-something degrees. I'm not sure the guys down here is used to playing in the cold weather as y'all are up there at Heinz Field. I've been to Pittsburgh before and saw the stadium sitting right there on the river. I got to say, it's kind of a cool-looking stadium where it's positioned and all that. It looks a little more, I don't know, just fits in with the environment a little bit more than maybe down here in Houston, where everything is big and just we kind of plop it in the middle of a parking lot and things like that. But God, I remember the old Steelers, Franco Harris and Bradshaw and all that. When we played them as Cowboys fans, that was a big deal. But now I'm a Texans fan, so we'll see what happens. So I hate to burst your bubble, Karen, go Texans, and if not, well, I still won't cheer for the Steelers, but that's all right. We'll see. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. All right, Gale Warnings is saying, looking forward to Extracted. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, and I did some checking on it before the show, Extracted, I've mentioned on here before. This is season 2. Season 1, they had, it was a lot of fun. Teams of 3 people. One person's out in the wilderness. The other 2 are sitting in luxury in some bunker somewhere. And the 2 people that are nice and comfortable are the ones who decide whether the person out in the wilderness has had enough. They're the ones that decide whether to yank the person out of the game or keep the person in the game. And we saw last season some people who looked like they were doing very well, and yet their loved ones pulled them out of the game anyway. We saw others who were just suffering out in the wilderness, and their loved ones really were hesitant to push the button, pull them out of the game. Whoever stays out the longest gets $250,000. So there's certainly some incentive to stick around a little bit. Anyway, so season 2 is coming up. 2 people on this season that y'all may know. The first one was Sandra Diaz from Survivor Queen, top of the heap. Sandra is on it. She's not going to be out in the wilderness. She's one of the support people back watching on TV as their loved one suffers and all that. So she's going to be on. I don't remember if it's her daughter and a sister, something. I don't remember. But anyway, she's going to be on one team. The other one that I'm excited to see is Sis from my season of Big Brother. Sis is going to be on there. She also is not out in the wilderness. Now that would be fun to watch. Maybe not so much, but she never struck me as the outdoor wilderness kind of girl. But Sis is going to be there, and I think it's Sis and her mother are going to be back watching on TV, and they're going to be watching Sis's sister actually out in the wilderness competing. So we'll see how they do. Yeah, when we were in the Big Brother house, I don't know if you remember, we only had have-nots for a few weeks. The first week we had have-nots, I was HOH, so I wasn't eligible. But I think it was Mickey and Jack and Kat who were the have-nots. One more, I can't remember. 4 people were have-nots. The next week it was whoever fell off the poisoned ivy first were have-nots. So it was Christy and Tommy, and I don't remember who it was. But anyway, after the first 2 weeks, there were 4 of us who had not been have-nots who were still in the house, and that was Holly and myself and Nick and Sis. And we realized we were the only 4 that were still in there who had not been have-nots yet. And so Nick and Holly and I all said, yeah, we'll volunteer. We'll be have-nots. It's our turn. We'll do it. Sure, why not? Sis said, nah, I'm not volunteering. There's no way. If someone makes me be a have-not, I'll do it. But otherwise, I'm not taking cold showers. I'm not eating slop. I'm not doing it voluntarily. I don't care what anyone says. I'm not volunteering to do it. Well, then have-nots went away after only 2 weeks, so it became a moot point. But yeah, based on that, I don't know that Sis would necessarily survive if it requires cutting up pieces of deer meat and cooking it over an open fire, or eating raw fish and things like that. But it's going to be fun to watch. But anyway, here's the deal. Apparently it's on Fox TV, I think, and it premieres on January the 26th, which is 2 weeks from now. I think that's maybe a Monday night, a couple of weeks from now. So yeah, we'll be talking about that one as well, and probably making fun of some people and things like that. I would have fun of doing that show, not because I'm a very stubborn individual. You could probably put me out in the wild. I don't care how hungry I am. I'd be in a bad mood, but I'd survive the hunger. Y'all know I don't like the cold. That would make me very miserable. But I wouldn't want to be out there. I'd have my son out there, and he could survive forever. I would have no doubt. And it'd be easy for me to let him just sit out there and say, "Nah, I'm not pushing the button. He's going to win some money." But yeah, we would have fun doing that show. It would be fun. So I'm gonna have fun watching it, cheering on Sandra, cheering on Sis, and just seeing how people survive when they're in bad situations. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Let's see. Lorley Weiss is saying, finally back. Had the flu since December 1st in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go Steelers. All right, well, if you're in Pittsburgh, okay, you got to support the home team, right? You got to be loyal. to whoever that may be. So the main thing, I'm glad you're over the cold, the flu. I've heard so many people talk about this flu. Nothing fun about it at all, and it's going everywhere. So I'm glad you're doing December 1st. Well, I guess your Christmas kind of sucked. I'm sorry about that, but I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're joining us as well. Thank you for that. All right, let's see what else. Hold on just a second. Fix the glasses here. All right, we've got Karen Loveland saying Terry Bradshaw spoke at my graduation in 1977. Well, that's pretty cool. Who spoke at my graduation? Wow. I for my high school graduation, I had no one spoke. I was probably some school superintendent that meant nothing. My college graduation, we had the Mexican ambassador to the United States speak at our graduation. Why? No say. No say. I don't know. But he spoke at our graduation. He had a very strong accent. I just put it like that. A little difficult sometimes to follow. And my mom took a picture, and it was so funny of watching during the graduation and then during his speech. During the graduation, we're all looking forward and excited. During his speech, we've all got our little programs out. I've been to a few college and high school graduations over the years. You know what I do? Not that I don't fully respect and want to honor every single graduate. Props to them all. But y'all may not realize here in Texas, we've got some high schools that are huge. We've got high schools that graduate classes 1,500 plus seniors every year. That's a lot of names to read out. It's also a lot of names to have fun looking through the program and trying to find which names look like they're going to be the most difficult to pronounce, and then watching the announcers and seeing how they do. There may have been a few bets made at various graduations on everyone picking a name and trying to see who picked the name that was the hardest to pronounce. We may have done a few things like that, but anyway. Well, Terry Bradshaw speaking at your graduation is pretty cool. He seems like a pretty interesting guy. There was a show on, and I can't remember the name of it, a reality show. It was Terry Bradshaw, Henry Winkler, George Foreman, and William Shatner. 4 old dudes. I mean, that's coming from me. 4 older dudes hanging out together and going off different places and doing different activities and things like that. And just having a lot of fun, giving each other a hard time. I've always been a huge fan of Terry Bradshaw. Hated him when he was a quarterback, but afterlife, yeah, he's a pretty nice guy. I've enjoyed him. All right, let's see. Blue Sugi is saying William Rehnquist, the former Supreme Court judge, spoke at my sister's graduation in '97. Yeah, that's huge. He's not just Supreme Court. He was one of the big ones on the Supreme Court. That would be very interesting to hear what he had to say. Starry Night Sky said, I gave Mean Joe Green a Coke and he gave me a jersey. There's probably only half a dozen of us who actually get that particular reference. Hey, Mean Joe. Yeah, I remember that. It's an old Coke commercial. You remember that forever, right? Mean Joe Green played, I think he played for the University of North Texas up in Denton, just north of Dallas. I think so. But it may be just because their nickname is the Mean Green. Maybe I'm just comparing the two somehow. But Mean Joe Green, I hadn't thought about that name in a while. Yeah, that's old school commercial there. Speaking of, completely off the topic, so I'll do it quick and then we'll move on. Sharon got Sharon. I get these little binges where I find shows on YouTube and things like that. Sharon was shocked. I found there's a show I watch when I just need to get cheered up sometimes, and it always does it. The Love Boat, and it's on like Tubi or something, one of these free apps that you can stream on TV. Watching The Love Boat, it was my growing up, one of my shows. I just love the song and everything else. I'll watch that, just cheesy, hokey TV. I found on YouTube the original Love Boat, the original pilot that had all completely different people. So I played it for Sharon, and she thought she was in an alternate universe because there's not any of the same people that you saw in the actual Love Boat. Apparently they couldn't stand in like any of the originals. So they redid the whole thing, probably just as well they did. But anyway, off on a tangent, as I said, but that's my happiest place. When I just need a little pep me up, I go out to Tubi and I watch Love Boat. Well, there you go. How did I start talking about that? I don't know. Oh, Mean Joe Green. I love the reference. I absolutely do. All right, Gail Warning is saying saw a preview of Extracted where a bear where a bear looked up to one of the campers. Uh, well, you know what? I've always heard this thing that if a bear's coming at you, don't run. Depending on what kind of bear, you either play dead or you are dead, one or the other. That's a pretty important designation, and I'm not sure polar versus grizzly versus black bear, brown bear. I'm not sure which ones you're supposed to stare down and which ones you're not supposed to look at. You're supposed to fall to the ground. That's like a cut the blue wire, cut the red wire. I'm going to be out there someday facing a bear saying, "Oh my God, is this a grizzly or is this? Am I supposed to fall down? I'm supposed to challenge a bear? What do I do? What do I do?" Uh, I know what I do. I run. I know that's not what you're supposed to do. I know that just encourages the bear. Oh, I got a live one here. All right, let's have some fun. I know all those things. I don't know that I have the discipline. If a big old bear is looking at me, I don't know that I have the discipline to say, "Hey, bear, go somewhere else. Leave me alone, bear." Hell no. I'm running. You may see me. You think I was BB Comics and Big Brother house and I was wearing a cape and looking very superhero-ish. Wait till you got a bear chasing me. You'll see me leaping tall buildings in a single bounce without hesitation. I'm pretty good at running when I'm a little bit worried about stuff. Uh, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Bears, so yeah, probably another reason not to put me in Extracted. That would be a little tough. You don't mess around with those bears. There's some. I when I was up in the Dead Horse, Alaska, working on the North Slope, we actually did see a polar bear walking across the road. Now I couldn't tell. It was in the middle of a blizzard, and the guys that were with me said, "Hey, Cliff, see it up there?" Well, I see a white blob. Yeah, it's a polar bear. All right, well, that's pretty cool. We didn't get any closer than that. Probably a good thing. One other quick story, and then we'll move on. First time I went up to Dead Horse, Alaska, we actually had a lot of the buildings up there away from the main structures are just little Q huts. They're little half round metal buildings that you stay in, little satellite stations and things like that. Holds 4 or 5 people when you need to. There was a guy in one of those who was cooking dinner, and all of a sudden he hears a noise outside, and he looks up, and there's a bear looking in the window of this door, looking at him. And he immediately is cooking dinner, so he grabs the pots and pans and bang, 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 bangs the pots and pans and yells at the bear, "Get out of here! Get out of here!" The bear takes off running. Guy's feeling very proud of himself that, "Hey, I faced down a bear and I chased him away. Good for me." He tells all his buddies about it. Well, I don't know if it's the same night or a little bit later, but the next day or two. Anyway, another bear, or maybe the same bear. I don't know how to tell them apart, but a bear shows up at the window again, is looking in the window. The guy says, "Yeah, you worked last time. Let me try it again." He grabs those pots and pans. He comes over, bang, 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 bang. "Get out of here, bear." This time the bear just raises up one paw, knocks down the door in a single hit. The door comes flying inside. The bear comes rushing inside. The guy was not expecting that reaction. He is lucky that the bear cared more about the prepared food than the food that was wearing clothing at the time, because the guy took off running into one of the bedrooms, closed the door behind him. Bear ate everything in the kitchen, trashed the whole dining area, chewed up all of everything. Just had a nice meal that didn't involve the people still running around in the bedrooms. So that happened right before I showed up my first time to Dead Horse, because there was a big notice saying, if a bear or other wild creature comes to your door, do not scare it away. Get out of view of it and see if it will leave. And I thought, yeah, okay, that's good advice. I'll leave the bears alone while I'm up here. So there you go. All right. What else? Let's see. Carol Mosher saying, "Carol, how are you doing, my friend?" Says, heard they're doing 2 seasons a year, one with famous people and one of unknowns. Oh, for Traitors. I like that. I absolutely like that. And I think that's a brilliant idea. And I so hope you're right for all kinds of reasons. One, because yes, it would be fun to get on that show one of these days. Uh, I, I think I'd have fun, and I think I would. Now, here's the deal. Y'all saw in the episode, Ian said he did not want to be a traitor. I think he felt like being a traitor was kind of too easy. It's too much expectation of what you do. That he thought being a faithful was a little bit harder and a little bit more strategy to be discovered. So he wanted to be a faithful. If they put me in there, I am going to so try to volunteer to be a traitor just so I could show my evil side a little bit. And just because I don't know, because people wouldn't expect it. But then again, maybe I'd be like Mama Kelsey. Oh, she's so nice. She's got to be a traitor. I'd have to get in there and just be mean to people just to get them off my track. Maybe I don't know. It would be fun to be a traitor in there. They'd be saying, "We don't know if Cliff's a traitor or not, but he is suddenly wearing a black hat." So, oh yeah, that was kind of a screw up, wasn't it? Portia, she got booted. I don't know why. I would love to see some interviews with her. She said a few things that really got her thrown under the bus. She said things like, "Oh, when we killed Ian," or "There's 4 traitors," and no one knew there were 4 traitors. She wasn't a traitor. She wasn't a secret traitor, and yet she still said some things that just put the target square on her. It just goes to show when you are in one of these competitive reality game shows, the smallest thing you say can really come back and get you. I mean, it doesn't take much. You can have a loudmouth like me and be going off in some room, and yeah, you're in trouble. But even saying something little sometimes can get you in trouble if people just read it the wrong way. I spent all day, every day in that Big Brother house worrying about, did I say that wrong? Did someone assume something badly because of the way I said it? I know one time I was talking about where I worked and I said my company. And then I thought, oh my God, they're going to think I'm like a Jed Clampett, that I own an oil company because I said my company talking about oil and gas. That's it. Who's going to give the title of someone that's worth $1 billion or whatever? Yeah, no, I work in the oil industry. That doesn't mean I'm an oil baron. I don't own an oil company, but I just said it, my company, as in who I worked for, and I spent a day trying to figure out how I could say something different to change people's mind. No one even noticed. I don't think, but you do worry about that while you're playing these games. See. Blue Sugi is saying Fear. We've got so many shows. Fear Factor is coming back with Johnny Knoxville. I'm ready to watch that. Michelle Moore is saying Fear Factor yesterday was disgusting. All right, has it already come back, or is this a repeat? I know there's still some old Fear Factors out there. I think there's a lot of reality shows, a lot of shows in general, where you have to just continually ramp up the disgust, the gore, the shock factor. People get used to it. I love The Walking Dead. One of my all-time, the first season or two. Oh my God. Yeah, y'all know I love zombie horror movies. It's just terrified me as a kid or as a teenager. But I feel like Walking Dead, after a while, it's like, yeah, we've seen the zombies before. They had to keep making it worse and worse. And I kind of feel like that on Fear Factor as well. You kept doing disgusting things, and here's 20 people online saying, I'll do it. No, yeah, Madagascar hissing cockroach. No, I'll eat 20 of them. No, don't worry about it. So they had to just keep making it worse and worse and worse. It's like roller coasters. It's not enough to have a roller coaster that does 540 and drops you at a vertical, 300 feet. You got to do better. You got to do more. And I feel like Fear Factor kind of was a victim of that to some degree. So I'm curious to see what happens with this new version of it. If it's strictly challenges and doing disgusting stuff, or if there's going to be a little bit more intrigue and plotting and strategy. I mean, how cool would it be if you had Fear Factor, but you also had some elements similar to Big Brother, or I don't know, where you would assign different people based on challenges, or if you do this weird thing, you get an advantage, but if you don't do it, you get a disadvantage. I don't know. I feel like there's some peripheral stuff you could do while still having the horrific, disgusting parts of Fear Factor, but still make it a little bit more a mental competition as well. I don't know. I haven't seen too much about the new one coming out, but if I'm producers, that's what I'm doing, just to put a little bit more fresh spin onto some of this that's going on. But I can only imagine, based on how gross some of the Fear Factor was last time round, what it's going to be like this time round. Yeah, we had some Big Brother people who did it. I don't remember who all it was. Rachel Riley, I remember she was on it, and they had cockroaches dropping on people and just creepy stuff. All right. Let's see. Desiree Watts. Desiree, how are you doing? I didn't see you out here to start with. I'm glad you're here. Survivor 50, February 28th. Are you ready? Yeah, I guess so. I'm ready to cheer everyone on and see how it's going to work. There's so many people, and especially when you already know all of them. How do you even cheer for them all? I mean, there's Rick Devens is going to be out there. Coach is going. There's just so many people. Colby from season 2, my fellow Texan. I cheered him on when he was Survivor Australia's second season. It's going to be fun watching these. I was going to say 50. It's not 50. It's Survivor season 50, but it is going to be fun watching them. I really want to see what's a little bit different with some of the twists as far as Mr. Beast showing up and some things like that. It's going to be like an old high school reunion or something. All these people showing up that you haven't seen on your TV for a while, and we'll see how they play the game. We'll see if the way they played the game the first time, obviously, at least for the most part, you think they did well. If they did well, if they're back, usually it's a sign of some success. We'll see if their previous success was because of who they are or just the environment and the other people around them. Can they replicate what they did the first time around? Are they going to come in with a new strategy? It's going to be fun to watch. Yeah, I am definitely ready for it. I did the viewing party with Ian last Thursday, not this coming up Thursday, but the following Thursday. We'll do a viewing parties as well. All right, let's talk about that a second. C. Gabarino saying, is there anyone from your season that you have not that you've not spoken to since your finale? Okay. Yeah. I'm getting a couple of topics here. Cross. Let me do that. Is there anyone that I haven't talked to since my season? Not since the finale. Not since no, there isn't. We had a wrap up party, and I think I talked to everyone at the either wrap up party or since then. I believe I've talked to everyone at least a little bit. Now, there's a few people that have kind of said, I don't really want to have a lot to do with a Big Brother anymore. And they've kind of moved on. Bella and Kimmy both have kind of said, I'm not really into Big Brother 21. So I've had very, very limited conversations with both of them. I think everyone else, bits here and there. There's a few people I talked to quite a bit. Kat, Nicole, Ovi, Sam a little bit, Nick, Christy, Tommy. There's a lot I talk to whenever I can. Kat, and I was kind of flip-flopping around here, but Kat and I are going to be seeing each other, not this coming up Thursday, but the following Thursday. We're both going to a viewing party up in McKinney, Texas, just north of Dallas. So if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Chop Sports, January 22nd. I think it starts at 6. We're going to do a viewing party, and it's going to be myself and Kat and her boyfriend. They were on Amazing Race together. I think Quinn's going to be there. Brooklyn is going to be there from Big Brother 2 seasons ago. Keanu's going to be there. Adrian's going to be there, and I'm sure I'm missing one or two people. Anyway, we're going to have a bunch of folks showing up to the rad show. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, y'all come out. It's always fun to hang out with Kat and hear what news stories that she's got going on. As she gallivants all around the world doing the stuff that she does. But yeah, for the most part, a couple of people, and I respect it. If they don't want to talk to me or they don't want to talk about Big Brother, then I certainly won't push the issue. But for the rest of them, I'll certainly talk to them. There's a few. I haven't talked to Sis in a while. The occasional, hey, Merry Christmas to you, those kind of things. But yeah, I'll be cheering for it. It's gonna be fun. Let's see, Marilyn Sutherland saying, has Extracted started all right? No, January 26th. I'm pretty sure it's on Fox. So you've got 2 weeks. It's Monday night. All right, I hope Extracted isn't at 7:00 on Fox on Monday nights. Hey, if it is, maybe we'll watch it live or something. I don't know. We'll figure out what we're going to do with it. No use worrying about it until it gets here. But anyway, yeah, no, it has not started. You got 2 more weeks for that. I don't know about Fear Factor if it started yet or not. One of y'all let me know. I'd be curious to hear that. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? Karen Loveland is saying, with the bear, make yourself big as possible. Yell. Well, I should be safe, right? I mean, y'all know I can yell. I got no whisper voice. Big Brother proved that. Between my voice and I carry a certain amount of mass around wherever I go. So yeah, I guess if that's what it takes to survive a bear attack, then I got a little bit of an advantage over some other people. If it comes down to climbing a tree, though, I may be a little behind the curve as compared to some other people. But no, I'm glad to hear that. I hope I never have to put that into practice. And I'm certainly not going to go out and try to test out that hypothesis right there. But after you've said that, if I ever do run into a bear in the woods, I'm going to be doing my own, hey, bear, get out of here, get out of here. And the park rangers are going to say, we don't know what went on with that idiot. The bear's sitting there looking at me. He started yelling at the bear, and the bear was having none of it. So yeah, Mr. Hogg was yeah, a little too verbal with that bear. Let's just hope that we never have to worry about that particular little decision. There's not a lot of critters that bother me. I've got a healthy respect for snakes, but I can handle snakes, bugs, and I'm okay with all of those things that got big old sharks and bears. Those are the ones that are gonna get my attention real quick. So yeah, well, I'll stay out of the forest and I'll stay out of the oceans as much as I can. All right, let's see. Clinton Merch is saying, uh, oh, Fear Factor. All right, the last night. Ugh, all right, so I missed it. I'm sure it is out there. I'm sure I'll be able to find it. So I appreciate that, Clinton. I'm gonna have to track it down now. Maybe I don't. I was gonna say maybe I'll do it after this is over, but I got a football game. But even more than that, I'm sure Sharon is not going to want to be watching Fear Factor while we have dinner. So we'll hold off on that one. Starry Night Sky is saying predictions for the first boot on Survivor. Oh gosh, I have. And Gail Warnings is saying Suri. Suri would be an okay target just because she's done so much. There's no hiding under the radar for Suri anymore. But I don't know, and the reason being, oh, cheering on Suri. Okay, sorry. So you're not picking her as the first boot. I don't know if I see her as the first boot, but she has had a lot of exposure between Traitors and Big Brother and all of that. So she'll get some attention. I don't know who'll be the first boot because I have not heard how the tribes are going to be split up. Are they going to be old school versus new school, or is it just going to be a bit of a random setup? I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know how these extra twists are going to come into play. And unfortunately, I also don't know what kind of pre-gaming may or may not have taken place. We saw it with Big Brother 22. The pre-gaming just about ruined that season. I mean, I'm always going to be positive when I talk about my show, but that was a tough season to watch because of pre-gaming. And I hope that's not the case with Survivor. I hope you don't already have to, but I know we go to all these little reality TV events. The folks that have been doing this for a while have gone to a lot of them, had a chance to meet a lot of other people. There's certain Survivor people. Sandra's been to quite a few of them. Rick Devens has been to quite a few of them. I'm trying to think. I know there's other survivors that I just can't think of right now. There's certain people that stay very involved in the community that may have a bit of an advantage over some of the other people just because of pre-built relationships. So yeah, I have no who's my pick for first boot. Absolutely has to go first. I'm gonna say Russell Hantz, and I'm only saying that because Russell Hantz is not on Survivor 50. Can't say I'm really surprised. There's part of me that says Russell deserved to be on 50. If you're talking about people who really influenced the game, he's one of the big ones out there. Unfortunately, when you upset the executive producers and all that, you kind of make it difficult to put you back on. But I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's see. Blue Sugi is saying, hoping Rizzo from last season goes far. He's animated. I forgot we got Rizzo and Savannah. Or no, Rizzo. Yeah, Rizzo and Savannah are the two, right? Or not Sophie and Rizzo. Now I can't remember. I think it was Rizzo and Savannah, right? Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. He's going to be a bit of a wild card because there's a lot of people who aren't going to know his game having just come from season 49. Are people going to look at that as he's not a threat? He's just the latest. He's just popular because he's the latest season, but he's not the old school big threat type person. Uh, Moss saying Savannah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Or are they going to say, we don't know much about him? Obviously, he's got something going on that he made it towards the end, and he was popular enough to come back immediately and all that. So let's all gang up and get at the new people. I don't know. I'm just curious to see if you'll have the older versus younger people turning on each other. You've got to create alliances somehow, and I can't help but think people are going to utilize anything they can, which may include people I've worked with in the past or I've met at different events and things like that. And it's going to be fun. We'll see. I hope they do enough twists. I'm not a huge fan of having so many immunity idols out there that everyone's safe. Oh, we got to go rocks because there's 5 different advantages that have been used. I kind of like when there's a lot less of that out there. But this particular season, because it's all returning players, I do hope there's enough twists that you don't just have 1 or 2 alliances that just steamroll over everyone else. I hope you don't just have tribal swaps or mergers. I hope you just completely spin stuff up. Every other day you've got half your tribe going to another tribe and a new group coming in, or maybe you don't even have tribes. Maybe everyone's living together on the same island and it's random as far as who's competing on which team. I don't know. I hope they do enough to keep things stirred up enough that you are constantly having to work with new people. I want to see someone win this season of Survivor, not because they're the biggest comp threat or even because they're the biggest strategic threat. I want to see someone win because they have maximum flexibility, because they are able to adapt to constantly changing situations and conditions. That's what I want to see. Not because you're the most popular, not because you're the most athletic, but because no matter what the situation is, you figure out a way to survive it. That's who I'd like to see win this season, and we'll find out. It's funny; it's already been played, right? I assume it's already been done, and we're just someone out there knows that they won, and someone knows that they were first boot. There's probably some of y'all know I'm avoiding spoilers. I don't want to know any spoilers. I'm going to watch it as it goes on TV, and we'll talk about it. All right, 7:55. We got to finish up here. Blue Sugi is saying, curious to see or cautious to see the Billie Eilish, Jimmy Fallon, Mr. Beast twist on Survivor. Yeah, I know Jimmy Fallon is huge. He's constantly throwing out ideas to Jeff Probst. Mr. Beast, it doesn't surprise me that he's out there offering some kind of bribe. Billie Eilish. What could Billie Eilish be doing? Would she show up at? What if you're just sitting up on the beach and you haven't shaved in a month, you haven't been able to use a toothbrush or anything else, and also you just look over and here's Billie Eilish sitting on a pontoon boat singing some of her top songs or something. It doesn't say a word. She just sings and then she floats away after the end. That's when I stop drinking the coconut juice because I get a little bit worried about it. All right, Clinton is saying, I'm making my audition video in about 2 weeks. All right, well, I've had 1 or 2 people who sent me audition videotapes, and all of y'all put them together. Clinton, go for it, my man. What is the worst that happens? Nothing. The worst that happens, you have fun doing a video. You get to spend a few weeks envisioning, hey, what if? And there, no matter what the odds are, there are 50, 100, 200 people that get that what if phone call to start the process. So yeah, go for it. Clinton, we could be watching you this summer. We could be sitting there talking about your every move. Said, I cannot believe Clinton got out there and won HOH or spoke out loud and did everything against everybody. I don't know. You never know till you get in there, but either way, that would be fun. So yeah, audition season is taking place. So get your videotapes done for Traitors, for the I think Amazing Race may be out there casting right now for Big Brother. We're in our little lull period, which just means all the casting agents are out there scouring the internet, but also waiting for the diamonds in a rough to send in the videos. People who think there's not a chance, and yet you have no clue that you're exactly what they're looking for, and they're just waiting for you to alert them to your presence. And you never know what happens to life after that. It will be a lot of fun. All right, guys, with that, we're going to shut it down because I got to I got to watch some Texans, hopefully raising old scores up a little bit. Guys, have a great one. SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all. Love hanging out with you Monday night. Please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, hitting the thumbs up. For those of you who have access to it, Thursday night's the Traitors, so I'll drop the episode on that, and then we'll talk about it Monday night as well. Y'all send me some ideas. I don't want to put too much focus on the Traitors every night because I know not all of y'all watch it. So give me some other ideas about things we need to be talking about, and we'll see if we can change it up a little bit here and there. Guys, have a great one. Until I drop my next episode or until next Monday night, SKD 143. Go Texans, and I will talk to y'all later, my friends. Cheers to all of y'all. Bye, guys.